Good evening and welcome. I'm sorry we're a couple minutes late. One bathroom is a little tough for 11 people. Welcome to our concert. It's one of our first live concerts. We're not masked. We're sitting all together. We're getting over the happy hump of COVID, which is really, really great. And this is our peace concert. We did one 2 years ago if you were here. And actually, it's very important for all of us, obviously, but it's very important to me. A peace concert says a lot. And in music, we break all boundaries with music that can help build peace. So sit back and relax and enjoy, because it's really a meditative concert. I'm sure you've read your program and, uh, and enjoy. Just enjoy.
Visions of peace. I do not want the peace that passeth understanding. I want the understanding which bringeth peace. Helen Keller. My soul can see no other remedy pleasing to God than peace. Peace, peace therefore, for the love of Christ. Catherine of Siena. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they are the children of God. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9.
Silent peace. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Mother Teresa. Peace cannot be achieved through violence. It can only be attained through understanding. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. John Lennon.
Dreams of peace. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. E.Y. Harburg, from the opening verse of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Universal peace. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. Part 1. I believe that to meet the challenges of our times, human beings will have to develop a greater sense of universal responsibility. Part 2. Each of us must learn to work not just for oneself, one's own family or nation, but for the benefit of all humankind. Universal responsibility is the key to human survival. It is the best foundation for world peace. The 14th Dalai Lama.
Chapter 12, verses 9 through 18. Let love be sincere. Hate what is evil, hold on to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection. Anticipate one another in showing honor. Do not grow slack in zeal, be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope, endure in affliction, persevere in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the holy ones. Exercise hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Have the same regard for one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Do not be wise in your own estimation. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be concerned for what is noble in the sight of all. If possible, on your part, live at peace with all.
Mary, Queen of Peace. Paul VI, who inaugurated the Feast of Mary, Mother of God, also coupled with it the World Day of Prayer for Peace. It represents a deep insight on the part of the Pope, for Mary is also the Queen of Peace. Never has peace been so much desired and needed in our tortured world. The peace of Christ is not just an absence of conflict, a momentary truce between nations and peoples. It cannot be achieved through treaty or force, but only through conversion of heart and mind. In all the places of conflict, in all the maimed and the wounded, in all the communities disrupted by fear and violence, for all the mothers and fathers who grieve the loss of their sons and daughters, that gift of peace is not only a promise, but a necessity. In them, we see again the face of Mary's Son. Mary, Mother of God, Queen of Peace, teaches us again to say yes to him who is the source of peace. She teaches us to work, to persevere, and to hope for this supreme gift, for nothing is impossible to God. Father James Hanvey, S.J.
Alleluia.
Peace in our hearts. If you want peace, you don't talk to your friends, you talk to your enemies. Desmond Tutu. The true servants of the Most Merciful are those who behave gently and with humility on earth, and whenever the foolish quarrel with them, they reply with words of peace. Al-Furqan 63, from a transliteration of the Quran.
Peace must be built on justice. The desire for peace, security, and stability is one of the deepest longings of the human heart. It is rooted in the Creator who makes all people members of the one human family. This desire can never be satisfied by military means alone. Peace must be built on justice, socioeconomic development, freedom, respect for fundamental human rights, the participation of all in public affairs, and the building of trust between peoples. Pope Francis.
Open my eyes, Lord.
work on building peace. Peace has to be created in order to be maintained. It is the product of faith, strength, energy, will, sympathy, justice, imagination, and the triumph of principle. It will never be achieved by passivity and quietism. Dorothy Thompson. It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it. Eleanor Roosevelt. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. John F. Kennedy.
Building a positive world. We will not build a peaceful world by following a negative path. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but on the positive affirmation of peace. We must see that peace represents a sweeter music, a cosmic melody, that is far superior to the discords of war. Somehow, we must transform the dynamics of the world power struggle from the negative nuclear arms race, which no one can win, to a positive contest to harness humanity's creative genius for the purpose of making peace and prosperity a reality for all the nations of the world. In short, we must shift the arms race into a peace race. If we have a will and determination to mount such a peace offensive, we will unlock hitherto tightly sealed doors of hope and transform our imminent cosmic elegy into a psalm of creative fulfillment. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Peace and diversity. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where all can flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. Religion, ethnicity, language, social and cultural practices are elements which enrich human civilization, adding to the wealth of our diversity. Why should they be allowed to become a cause of division and violence? We demean our common humanity by allowing that to happen. Human beings will always be able to find arguments for confrontation and no compromise. We humans are, however, the beings capable of reason, compassion, and change. Nelson Mandela.
Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred,
Aspirations of Peace. Part 1. Peace is the highest and most strenuous act of the soul, but an entirely harmonious act, in which all our powers and affections are blending in a beautiful proportion and sustain and perfect one another. Part 2. It is more than the silence after storms. It is as the concord of all melodious sounds, an alliance of love with all beings, a sympathy with all that is pure and happy, a surrender of every separate will and interest, a participation of the spirit and life of the universe. This is peace and the true happiness of humanity. William Ellery Channing.
Well, thank you very much. It is wonderful to have a live audience. It is wonderful to have singers singing close together, musicians playing. It is so great to be back. It is well with our souls. Thank you very much for being here tonight. It's such a great thing. I know for all the musicians to be singing and performing and playing live is something really special that a lot have missed. This all doesn't happen by itself, and there are very quickly, but there are people I want to really acknowledge. I do want to acknowledge our readers. We have Linda, Ann. Guys, you want to take a step? We have James, and we have Marianne, who have read for us tonight so beautifully. Thank you, guys. It was wonderful. We have our wonderful musicians. We have Keith, Paula, and we have Colleen, who are here to play with us tonight, and I appreciate them sharing their gifts with us. And for a lot of you know, our singers up here, except for Lauren here in the end, who is sort of filled in for us. She's really very new to us. We appreciate her coming in tonight to sing with us, to help us with our altos. She's really a soprano, but she came in to sing, which was excellent, so we thank her for that. And Ashley is someone new that is singing with our quartet, but the other people you have seen before, you've seen Christina, you've seen Alex, you've seen Greg, you've seen Brendan, you've seen Robbie, and you've seen Taryn, either cantors or there are singers at our noon mass that rotate in, and they will be back in the fall when the choir starts up again, which I'm very excited about, which is a great thing. So thank you guys. You guys were awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I have two more thank yous. One goes out to all our staff. The staff has been so supportive and helpful. That goes with Mike Guillermo for helping in the back, getting things set up, Pedro. There are people that all help on our staff. That is a great staff to work with here, and they're really supportive. And without them, this all doesn't happen. So I really, really thank them for all their help. It's been great. And then the last person I need to thank is our pastor, Father Baker, because Father Baker is so supportive of this program and so supportive of music. Without him, this does not happen. So I really need to say a big, big thank you to him for his support and allowing us to let this all be. This is really great. So thank you, Father Baker. And my last thank you before Father Baker speaks is to you all. You guys, without you guys, this would be nothing. So thank you for coming out and being here. Spread the word. We are back performing, and we will be having our concert series starting all over again in the fall, and we look forward to having you here. If there anybody out there that's looking to sponsor our concert series, we've had sponsors in the past, and I'm just putting out because that's something that helps support all this. Everything you do is really helpful. Our donation tonight was because we don't have sponsors this year because of the COVID year. So I thank you all for doing that. It really helps to offset some of the costs for our professionals that are here. But thank you all so much. It has really been a pleasure to be back. And I know the pastor wants to say a couple of words. So thank you before we sing our final song.
Thank you, John. Friends, we have just gone through an incredible year and a half. For many people in the city, COVID was marked by the noise, the sounds of sirens, especially in those first terrible months. But for many more of us, this past year was a year of silence. Silence in our streets, devoid of cars. Silence in our buildings, empty of residents. Silence in our restaurants and our bars, which were closed and shuttered. Silence in our theaters. Silence on our trains and buses. Silence in our churches. Because even after last June, when the Roman Catholic churches here in the city reopened, many Protestant churches remained closed. And even in our Roman churches, with their 1,000-year-old tradition of music and choral singing and hymnody, music was either outright banned or reduced to a single person singing the parts of the Mass while the congregation sat masked and silent. But not here. Because as soon as we were able to open, there was music, beautiful music, piercing the silence. And that music was due to the hard work and diligence of one man, John Zupan. John pored over the CDC guidelines, read all the rules and regulations, which changed, it seemed, almost weekly from New York and Washington. And together with many members of our choir, the choir we put together, the Ringers, the paid choir that we had, because we could not have our regular choir together, John devised a way for us to have choral music, to sing safely and wisely and beautifully all throughout the pandemic. We wanted to create as normal an experience in this abnormal time as possible, and we did it because of John Zupan. Thank God, those times now are fading. I stand here before you without a mask on. You sit there and I can finally see your faces and your smiles for the first time in a year. There are so many things that are happening now in our city, so many ways we are opening up, and that means we are open for business here as well. And that means musically, as John said, from the moment we could, we had concerts here, even in the springtime. And come fall, our music program will be back in full swing and will be growing for all of us here in St. Monica, St. Elizabeth of Hungary, St. Stephen of Hungary, and the Yorkville community to enjoy and celebrate. John, none of us here can repay the debt that we owe you for everything you did for us during this horrible year, how you lifted our spirits, made us laugh, and enabled us to pray in a time where many of us did not necessarily feel much like praying. St. Augustine said, when one sings, you pray twice, and John, we prayed 3, 4, 5 times in some of the work you've done this year. As we continue to reopen, we invite all of you, people of Catholic faith, people of no faith, people of whatever faith, to come and enjoy our concerts and our celebrations, our masses and our prayer services. There will be music, and that music will come from the direction and the leadership of John Zupan. John, I couldn't give you anything that would adequately celebrate and repay you, but I do have something.
Well, you're all not getting off that easy. We all are now going to sing together, Let There Be Peace on Earth. So I don't know why don't you stand? They've been standing the whole time. Let's all stand and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. Please join us in singing our last final song. And again, thank you so much. And thank you, Father Baker. Oh.